for the longest, I always heard when I knew that I wanted to get into like the arts and stuff is that you would have to go to LA or you would have to go to NYC or you would have to go to Atlanta. I went to New York Film Academy in 2014, and one of the things that they told us before we graduated, which really hammered it into me, because I already was making my own stuff prior to going to college, but they said you guys really need to like make your own content because like a lot of times, when you're relying on the mercy of the gatekeepers, so to speak, you know what I'm saying? You may be, waiting for a minute, or some of the people may not be as gracious and they'll try to have you do, something strange for some change, you know what I'm saying, to get in the room or to get in a role. And so for me, it's just like, okay, like I see that now.
There's so many good voices in Omaha, and I think that it's underrated how much like talent there is here.
Yes.
And every time I have a conversation with somebody that's an artist, an entrepreneur, business leader, thought leader, I'm like, where is this on the national stage? Nobody really talks about our area and like some of the things that we're doing and how much talent there is. Do you find that it's difficult for you to break out and do the things that you want to do, or do you feel like, hey, I'm just going to do it and whatever happens happens?
It depends because I grew up here my whole life. So like I was born in like Chicago, but I don't necessarily claim it because it's like, I only spent a very like small part of my life there. So it's just like to me, it's just like you can't claim something that you don't have like any knowledge of. You know what I'm saying? So like for me, a lot of my upbringing was like, Omaha. So for the longest, I always heard when I knew that I wanted to get into like the arts and stuff is that you would have to go to LA or you would have to go to NYC or you would have to go to Atlanta. And so I went to New York. And so for me, like, I think there's that. I think it's kind of like both sides of the coin. For me, I'm very blessed to know how to create something organically. Not everyone knows how to do stuff like that, and it's very difficult to do it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like like a person who is an actor here, they may not be able to write like a full length script or a short story, and that's no knock towards them because it's like when I was in New York Film Academy, I went to New York Film Academy in 2014, and one of the things that they told us before we graduated, which really hammered it into me, because I already was making my own stuff prior to going to college, but they said you guys really need to like make your own content because like a lot of times, when you're relying on the mercy of the gatekeepers, so to speak, you know what I'm saying? You may be, waiting for a minute, or some of the people may not be as gracious and they'll try to have you do, something strange for some change, you know what I'm saying, to get in the room or to get in a role. And so for me, it's just like, okay, like I see that now. So I don't know. I don't know if that answered the question.
Yeah, no, I get it. I'm just trying to get an idea of because some of the stuff that I've seen you do, it is definitely next level for like what's out here now. Like you have a sense of how to run a show. You have some showrunner talent. So
Sure.
A little bit of my background, I have sort of the same thing. Okay. I graduated high school from Norfolk, Nebraska, small town, right?
Yeah.
Moved to New York City, had an opportunity to go to a theater acting school, really enjoyed it, loved it. I didn't fall in love with it like some of my other classmates and stuff did.
Sure.
They like really dove in. I was more into I like sketch comedy. I like stuff like this. So this is pre social media. This is pre like iPhone. Like we're talking 99, 2000 to like 2006.
Yep.
And then like I didn't even have a cell phone until I was like 22 years old, 21 years old.
Yeah.
Anyway, I lived through 9/11 out there. I lived there. Like I was there. I was doing the thing. Yeah. And so the experiences that I had, it was very much like we had to knock on. So we went to a bunch of bars in Brooklyn and in Queens, and there was a group of us that we didn't really love the idea of like auditioning and doing stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
We were sort of like the original content creators where we didn't have a cell. We had to like go to these bars and say, hey, listen, do you want to do like an open, we could help you host it. We don't want any money or anything like that, but maybe give us, you know, a little bit like whatever we bring in for you guys. Maybe give us a little piece of the bar or something like that. Just like a DJ would do, or like a karaoke or something.
Sure.
So it's a little bit like that. And that was kind of how we flexed our creative muscle. And that's how we started to kind of get noticed. And our first sketch comedy group was called A-Holes in the Ozone. And it was just like 4 of us. And we were all different. I was
so what theater did you do your
So I was at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts.
Okay.
And so not AMDA, which is like the real fancy one, the American Music in Dramatic Arts. I was just the acting one. I was the one that like Robert Redford went to, like Paul Rudd and stuff like that. Like I went to their school.
Okay.
And I was on Madison Avenue. It was in New York from like 99 till about 2003. I was there. And then I went to St. John's University, and that's a whole other thing. And I did the theater and stuff there, but that it kind of led me down a different path. Sure. That was a different thing. But so when we were doing that stuff, it was like we would just, that's kind of how we made our own, but we didn't have any cell phones to film it. So I've got no proof of this, except we did a photo shoot and I've got some photos and stuff, but it's like, it was like one of the guy's girlfriends like took our photos and stuff. And it was like, we were just having fun. We were just having a good time. And slowly but surely we started to realize, man, we got to pay our bills and how do we do this stuff? So I was like, let's just go to LA. So me and one of the other people went to LA. We went on our own, but like, you know, he did his path and I did my path, and he really took off in like the comedy scene, stand up, stuff like that. And I more got into, I wanted to do movies and stuff. Like I wanted to try that. So I tried that, man. I found out real quick that maybe that's not what I wanted. And then I started getting into like post-production stuff, editing and whatnot. And I started playing around with like how the sausage gets made. Yeah. And I was like, okay, this is more my speed. Like I really like being behind, you know, the scenes. Yep. And so editing, I thought, okay, that's what I'll do. So I started doing stuff for like reality TV and stuff like that. Worked as a post-production coordinator, you know, was a PA on a couple of shows, things like that. I mean, I had my SAG card because I had done some extra work and different things and shows and movies and things like that. And so I was able to cut my teeth in certain aspects of the acting world, but I was like, you know what, really, I don't know if that's for me. I think because I just didn't love the, like you said, it's kind of pay to play type situation. Yeah. You almost have to do jobs you don't.
Yeah. And plus is like, I think if anything, like when you get an understanding of how like a lot of this stuff works, it makes you a little bit more like self-aware of like the business, because like at the end of the day, it's a business, you know, and sometimes when the business takes over, you know what I'm saying, like the art, then it no longer becomes fun. And on top of that, when you are in those environments, like when I personally like, look, and it sounds like maybe hypocritical for me to say, I don't like actors. They get on my nerves. They do. No,
I don't blame you at all.
Yeah, because like, that's not to say, because like I have friends who are actors, but like a lot of them are chill. But like the ones that I've met, especially in like school, like they were very annoying and pretentious because they were always 100%. Like, they were like, for example, what did they say? Like, one of them was like, oh, well, you know, we need to try out, you know, drugs, and we need to sleep around with each other because we're actors, and actors are supposed to be free, and actors are supposed to and I'm just like, bro, that's not going to make you better. Like, because you could sleep with 1,000 people and do 1,000,000 orgies, and you still can't memorize your freaking script.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
and you can curse on this, by the way. Yeah,
okay,
you're good.
Yeah, so I mean, but that's the thing that always like made me.
I love it.
It irritated me because I'm like, why? Like, look, if you want to go out and you want to hump around, if you want to go out and you want to get high, then go do that. But like, don't try to like connect one to the other, because at the end of the day, it's either you got it or you don't. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, you know, and a lot of it just comes through like the hard work.
I think they play caricatures of what an actor's supposed to do. Yeah. Right? Like certain actors that are coming up like in the school and things like that, they almost play caricature of what you're supposed to, you know, the drug, and right? Yeah. They play actors. Actors are like playing actors, but the real ones, like let's just name some names, you know, like the Denzels of the world. Sure. You know, like the Leo DiCaprio's, the Benicio del Toro's. Those guys, they don't play actor. Like coming up in school, I'm sure there was some foolishness, fine. But no, the ones that made it and are doing it and are constantly working and have made a name, they it wasn't about that for them. Whatever they do in their personal lives, that's whatever. You know what I mean? That they're stars. They've done their stuff. They're adults. They know what they're doing. But what you're talking about is they're playing caricatures. They think they're supposed to do those things to get in those rooms to make their name that way. That's not what the Denzels of the world did. They got in the scripts. They understood the characters. They knew what they did. Whatever they did in their personal life after that, if they made their money and fame, I'm not judging that.
I think when you develop more, then you get an idea of how you're gonna go about things. Because like I think a lot of folks, that were in that film school, they saw something of someone that they admired, and then they tried to like emulate their style from them. But it's just like you have to like develop your own like path as you continue to grow. Because like when I first really got into films, I was just like, I'm like the black Quentin Tarantino. And it was just like, and I lived and breathed everything Tarantino. One of my childhood friends, bro, he would not stop talking about like Christopher Nolan. As the kids say, he was glazing. So it was just like, but as I got older, I was like, oh, like there's things about like, not to take aim at bro, but it's like, there are things that about his directing style or his writing style that I don't necessarily like, but that just shows growth. It's just like, oh, I would have done it this way. Doesn't mean that he's bad.
You're right.
It's just like, I think,
you're right. It takes, you understand your voice. You
understand your voice, yeah.
100%. You get. I mean, that's how it works. Christopher Nolan doesn't go and like try to copy other people. He knows his voice. I'm sure he takes some things from Tarantino. He takes some things from Spielberg. You know what I mean? He's a modern master. But like you see that, okay, yeah, great film, great, but I probably wouldn't have, massaged it like that. Yeah. You also understand, well, I don't want to put it that way. I think it's easy for us on the outside to go, I would have done things differently. But when you get into it, you start working with cinematographers, sound designers, lighting designers, grip, all these teams. You might go, I want to do this differently, but then they kind of turn me on to this, and I kind of like it. So you kind of massage the way that you feel about certain things going into it, right? So for me to look at somebody else's work and go, I would have done that a little bit differently, whatever. Until you get into that situation, what was happening in that dynamic with the people you're working with, your choices change, right? And so I think that's actually what makes the whole process like beautiful. If you're doing it the right way, as opposed to playing a caricature of something that you think you're supposed to be doing, because then you won't ever listen. You won't ever take, because if you're playing a caricature, right, you're like, well, I have to do it this way because this is the way.
This is how the other person did it.
This is how the other person did it, but also this is the way in my mind that I thought that it was supposed to go. But it's like, but you're not listening now. You're not connecting.
I think it's always interesting because like when you play a caricature of some, like a perfect example, is like there's two particular artists. Is like, so there was Designer and then there was Future. Future was out first. Designer dropped Panda, sounded just like Future, and a lot of his music mimicked how he sounded. But I'm like, dude, if I wanted to go listen to Future, I'll go listen to Future. So be you.
Be you.
You know what I'm saying? And it's just like now, like if like,
I think Panda had some good lyrics. I think Panda had a good, but
I mean, it was cool for what it was worth, but it's just like at the same time, it's like it literally
was a caricature.
It was a caricature. Like, so the first time I heard it, I was like, oh, that's Future. Then homie told me, he was like, no, like that's Designer. And so for me, I'm like, what the heck? And so like a lot of times when you do that, even to like new audiences, it's a little bit more difficult for them to embrace you. Because like if people are going to think it's weird because it's different, let them think it's weird, because like years from now, it won't be considered weird. You're just going to look like a genius.
That's right.
But if you being you is acting like somebody else, you're just going to be a poser for like the rest of your life. Like everyone has like something that makes them special, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know.
And I digress. I'll just, I'll just start off by saying, guys, thanks for checking out the podcast. This is David Terrell Green. He's known as DTG in the industry.
Dei Moreno. Yes.
Yep. Dei Moreno.
Yes, sir.
So I'm fascinated because at first, when I first knew about you, when I first, I would say I met you virtually on social media. I was like, this guy's from Omaha? Yes. I was like, no way. Like, okay, so you've got you've got a mini series or a series, a web series.
Yes.
You got a web series.
Yes.
You're a writer, director,
Yes.
a musician, producer.
Yes.
Okay. What is Dei Moreno? Tell me about this album coming out. I want to get on that, and then we'll get into your TV stuff.
Yes. So I have an album called Spirit World coming out. Which camera do I look at? This one?
Yeah.
I have a brand new album called Spirit World coming out November the 17th. It was executively produced by a very good friend, near and dear friend. His name is Young God. That's his producer name. And I just have to give a little bit of credit to Young God. So any artists out there, it was a YXNG God on Twitter. I've known this man for such a long time, and when I tell you he is a savant, like his mind is just he genre bends.
Yeah.
It is like he's never a person that's like, I can't make that.
I just checked out his social, and I was like, who is? I can't believe I haven't heard that. Like
He's a genius. And he was raised here.
The video production's fantastic. It's really good. So did you produce it? You produced it here. You went to him.
So I normally I go out to him. So
Okay,
he's an artist producer that is based out in Sioux Falls. He grew up here, but he's now in Sioux Falls.
Midwest.
So, Midwest.
Shout
boys.
out.
No, and that's the thing, man.
Yeah.
It's just like, man, like there's a lot of, we'll get to that. There's a lot of talent, but like with Young God, because I've known him for so long, how our styles complement each other, how my voice complements his production, how his production complements my style. It is just like it's a beautiful masterpiece because it's like, it's unlike anything you will hear. And and I have to continue to give flowers to my guy because it's just like, it's one of those unstoppable force meets immovable objects, because we're going to continue to push each other and create the best product, because that's just how we are. And I owe him so much because he's just a wonderful person.
Now, does he come up with a lot of the beats and things like that? I mean, you're the lyricist. You work on a little bit of both.
So honestly, we'll come up with a lot of stuff together organically. There's like, I can name like a couple of moments where he may have sent me something, but there are moments where we'll sit down and we'll just kind of just craft what are we feeling? And what's the direction, and then we just kind of build the song from there. So it's a very there's a perfect example if you YouTube Pharrell and Justin Timberlake working on the Rock Your Body beat, and it's the beat plays for literally 20 minutes, and they're sitting down just coming up with melodies and harmonies and lyrics to kind of put together. That's what we do. So we really start from the ground up, and we craft it.
Well, and that, I mean, I feel like that's how you find that organic song too, as opposed to trying to do, like you said, what Designer was kind of doing is mimicking.
Yeah.
You don't, there's, everything that you're creating is it's coming from an organic place that you might be inspired by other artists, but you're actually you're doing you with the things that you like, and you're just interlacing all the different things, which kind of reminds. So, forgive me for saying this, but or maybe don't, or maybe don't, but I'm getting a Childish Gambino vibe, because you've got the comedian, right? You got the comedian in you, right? With DTG, and then you've got Dei Moreno. Yeah. So I'm like, I'm not saying it's a mimic. Yeah. I'm not saying it's a mimic, but what I'm saying is it's nice that you're sort of able to. Maybe it's you can correct me on this, but maybe it's a you're compartmentalizing. I'm not saying that word right, but you're kind of putting the two baskets. You've got your actor persona, comedian persona, and then you've got your music side. Is that accurate? And if that is, why have the two? Why separate them?
So first off, the Gambino reference doesn't offend me because I've been getting that since I was a teenager. So it's just like that.
I think it's a good thing.
It's good company to be in.
Yeah. For
For myself, I think that where him and I, let me start off by saying this. For me, I've been very blessed to have talent, be talented in multiple areas. Sure. So for me, it's just I want to utilize all of those talents to the best of my ability while I still have, this body of life. So for me, I don't want to shortchange myself. There's a lot of people, who will probably try to then hit you with like a, what does they say, jack of all trades is a master of none. But
Right. I've gotten that. Yeah.
And in fairness, though, it's just like I have played to all of the strengths. I've never tried to step out of anything that I clearly know is not for me, because there are people that will try to do music and they can't. It's not good. You know, you can't sing, you can't rap. It's fine. It's nothing personal. But you suck, you know what I'm saying? But like, and I say that
You suck.
I'm good. The Fresh Prince. It's you know, it's not because people don't like you. It's because you suck. You know what I'm saying?
I love it though.
Yeah, right? But it's like,
that's the blunt version, and we're not saying
there's
you
grace
suck
for that.
right.
Yeah.
There is grace for that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think people know right away if they can do it or not.
Yeah, and
They know.
Yeah,
They know.
Yeah.
And it's not even their friends that are giving them you're like, yeah. It's like you know already without even, like you can just feel, it's something you feel.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people also feel it because they'll know the authenticity like behind it. And
100%.
so for me, when it came to David Terrell Green and Dei Moreno, it was just very simple. It was just like, you know, I like the acting stuff, or the directing stuff, and the music stuff. And so for me, it's just being able just to step into which one feels right at the moment. Because at the end of the day, it's all just a character.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a good
It's just
point.
like, you know, like Dei Moreno, like, and that's the thing is like, I've never.
Yeah,
Like,
what's that name? What's that name? Does it mean something? Is it short for something?
Dan Marino.
Okay,
but
interesting.
With just a day.
Okay, we a Dolphins fan then, or?
Oh no, I'm a Giants fan actually, but I like the name. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
that's a great name.
Yeah, so like for David Marino, so you know with that,
that's awesome actually.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. For me, it's like it's really simple. Like,
and you obviously don't spell it the same.
Yeah, so it
very different.
Yeah, so it would be it's like DEIMORENO.
And how great is it that it's DEI? Like how great is it? But because you probably had that before all the BS out there. You know what I mean?
See,
like,
no, I didn't have that. See, the thing is that I remember one performance I was spelling the name out, and I
people
was
were like, "What?"
And I was like, okay, I know there's gonna be some person that's gonna try to be like, "Hey, DEI," and I'm just like, "Hey, man, like this existed before any of that." So it's just like I can't speak to whatever.
Right.
So if you want to troll, I mean, you can.
You want to troll you want.
Get some better material though.
Get better. That's hacky. That's hacky. That's
I can see that
shit.
coming a mile away.
That's some hacky shit.
Yeah. So I think when it comes to like the whole stepping into character, I think for me, it's just that I don't know, like when I would like act, for example, like when I've done like stage work and people tried to call me the character, I don't like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like my name is like David. You know what I'm saying?
You're right.
When it's showtime, I'm that character. But like so like when I'm doing like on, you know, performing as Dei Moreno, I don't walk around and be like, no, I'm Dei Moreno. Like, no, my name is David.
So what do you think happens? It'd be interesting. So what happens when Donald Glover is nominated for a Grammy? Do they call him Donald Glover? Or do they call him, you know, because Donald Glover doesn't do right.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying is like, so then every time he shows up to the Grammys, he's Childish Gambino, right? Or not? Like, how do we know? Because that's the thing is like he's not coming as his alter ego. He's coming as Donald Glover, right? Yeah. Because he's coming with his lady and his family. So I wonder how that's you know that would be the interesting part for me is what happens when people know you as Dei Moreno, but they didn't even know that maybe you were a comedian because they follow your music so much. Like they didn't even know your name was David. Like
that's
because some people get so invested in in a person or in an artist.
Yes,
like everybody thinks Jay-Z's name is Jay-Z. Yeah. Nah, his name is Sean Carter.
Yeah,
like we know that now.
Yeah.
But when he first came up, nobody knew that.
Sure.
Like, right? Yeah. When back in the day, we're talking like 99 and 2000.
I'll give you a better
I didn't know his
one.
name was Sean Carter.
Jamie Foxx, that's not his real name.
Right. Yeah.
It's just like,
I know that now.
Yeah. A lot of people like, not Jamie Foxx. Yeah. So I think for me, like, because the reason why I personally just try to, as an artist, music artist, it's Dei Moreno, but I always move as David because at the end of the day, like that's who I am when it's all said and done. So like I'm not gonna, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, slap an old lady, you know what I'm saying, push someone down to the stairs and rob a bank and be like, I didn't do that. That was Dei Moreno. That was Dei Moreno, guys. I didn't do it. And what are people gonna be like, oh yeah, man, you know, David didn't do that.
David, he wasn't even there.
He wasn't even there.
I saw Day, but David was
Dei Moreno. Dei Moreno wears tight ass pants. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right. I get you.
So for me, it's just like I've always wanted to live out loud authentically, but also give the art the proper platform it deserves. So it's just like, you know, Dei Moreno music, that's going to be music. I'm going to keep the music to give it its proper platform that it deserves. You know what I'm saying? So,
No, I appreciate that. And see that's, you know, part of the reason why I wanted to have the conversation with you specifically, because when I first saw your David Terrell Green page, because I don't remember if you were going by the notorious DTG at that point. Like when you first started, you know, that was sort of your Instagram, you know, right? Mm-hmm. And then like you were putting videos out, and I was like, wow, this is like produced stuff. Like these are episodes. This is a little web series. Let me watch some of these. So, I mean, really funny. I mean, some of those jokes really hit, and your team and your crew that you have, all the different comedians and the different actors you work with and stuff like that. How did that get started? Where did it get started? Was you cooked this thing up in a basement somewhere and you guys just decided, let's go do this thing? Did you try to sell it? Are you trying to monetize? Like what? Tell me the ins and outs of this thing and a little bit about, and get into like the business of it and how you can, you know, maybe profit off this thing.
So it started when I was very young. So I knew what I wanted to do like very, very young. So around maybe like 8, 9, 10, I would, you know, have my friends come over from, you know, Sunday school, and we would film Everybody Loves Those Boys. So Everybody Loves Those Boys, the title and the name has always been a thing since the beginning. And so as you know, when your friends are doing it, we're just goofing around, having fun. And then, you know, as you get older, you know, a lot of them, they don't really want to do that anymore. You know what I'm saying? So then I started to try to find different ways to make it better. And so I tried it like a bunch of times. I moved out to Vegas. I tried it. It didn't work. So when I moved back here, I was like, okay, I have these scripts. Like I have 2 scripts. I'm going to try this one more time. And if this doesn't work, then I'm just going to like abandon the whole thing. And, you know, even with like the small episodic run that we have, like the people that are involved in it, you know, they're just, you know, amazing people. You know what I'm saying? You got my guy DC Cronin, who is in my opinion, one of the best versatile actors here. You know, Keona's one of the funniest people here. Carmela Anderson, another one of the funniest people here. And so I think a lot of it is just like a beautiful storm, and everyone fits their role perfectly. And so at that point, for me, I've always enjoyed writing. So like, you know, it's not hard for me to write the material. I think that number one, I just like, one of the things I like to do for Everybody Loves Those Boys is pay attention to like the art of the loser. So like, if you've ever watched the episodes, they lose at the end of every single episode, but they're not losers.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like something happens near the end, or they think that they won, and then one last minute thing happens and you're just like, oh crap. But like, we don't try to bully them or beat them up or make the audience feel bad about like, oh man, these guys are never gonna get ahead. You know what I'm saying? So it's always like a lighthearted loss. So it's not anything that's like, oh man, I guess that's the end of the day, we'll see you, and then someone gets hit by a truck. Like, it's nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? So we obviously we keep it within reason.
Sure.
And so that's what has made things a little bit easier for me to like to write it, because like it's a lot more fun.
Right. Yeah. And it kind of continues, and you can kind of like play off something that happened in the last episode. It makes it a little bit easier to kind of connect the two things. But also I think sometimes what it does is it keeps you grounded in reality. If you win every time, that just ain't life.
Yeah, and I think a lot. My bad. I mean,
go ahead.
One thing that like I've noticed with like certain like content creators, like, you know, they'll write the material or they'll write the skit, and they will try to make themselves look like the coolest like person. So it's like they get like a lot of it is like they think life is like a porno. So like no, for real, like if I were to like, and I'm not trying to like talk crap, but like I think a lot of
Please
times
do.
I think a lot of times it's like you're so invested with trying to make yourself look cool that you're like abandoning like how funny this could be. So like I could like if there was a video and it was like me and a very attractive woman and one of them wrote it, then they would get the woman at the end. They would sleep with the woman. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, oh, my baby mama's friends, you know, want the D. You know what I'm saying? That so-and-so wants this, wants the meat. Oh, and it's like, it's the same formula.
Right.
And it's repackaged and they just, you know, and it's always the same thing. But like people click on it a lot of the times because the people that are in it are fine. You got a lot of fine women in it. So it's just like, so for me, that's what made me want to like, okay, we're going to do like the exact opposite.
Yeah, exact opposite. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So it's more of like, I think that's smart. I think it's, but I think that is also what for me resonated with the stuff that you're doing is because it was different. Mm-hmm. It's not boilerplate cookie cutter like stuff. Mm-hmm. And you know, the good looking people will get to stop the scroll, but the smart people will get you to stay over and over and over again. Now, do you need something? Do you need something to sort of like stop the scroll? You throw out a snippet that's got like a one-liner that's really good and funny, put the logo on it, get to our YouTube to check out the whole thing. Yeah. That is sort of your method and the way that you've been doing it and getting which I think is smart and is great. And I've used that for some of my clients because I do a lot of like social media marketing and stuff for different people. And I always tell people, we're Coke dealers. Okay. You give them a taste and they'll come back. You don't give them the whole baggie right away, man. You just give them a bump and then they come back. Now, I use that analogy and I use that with some of my clients that I can get away with that. But I think when I saw your content, I was like, you're unapologetically yourself. Mm-hmm. And those are the people I want to surround myself with because when I was in Los Angeles, I found nothing but cookie cutter stuff. Sure. And those people, they might get a bit part in this and they might get because it stops the scroll. Mm-hmm. But the people that keep getting work are the ones that are, grinding, getting the material, understanding it, and then they transcend them. They make the material come alive as opposed to just stop the scroll. It's not just are they striking? Yeah. Are they good looking? Sure, fine. But then they also hit it too. They also make the writer in the room perk up like that's it. Yeah. Because if you're constantly just shaking that ass and you're just constantly, then you put yourself in that box and that's what you are now. And
a lot of times, like, when you have to, it's like a conflict. You always, they have told me that, you have to write like conflict, and conflict can be something as simple as just like, wanting to go to the grocery store to get like, a certain product and they don't have it. So you have to keep going to different stores. And like with every store, like maybe there's one more of item and then the other person grabs it. And now you got to try to, you know what I'm saying? Like there's so much more than conflict that's more than just, oh, you cheated on me or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Right. And so I think that I have been able to figure it out now. And obviously like at this point, it's more of just like, how do we market the product? That's what I was going to say. How are you going to get that? How are you going to get that so that Prime, Netflix, whatever is like, dude, let's do this thing. I would love to pitch it. There's like probably 2 networks like on the top of my head that like and the thing is, I don't know, I'll be honest, I don't know how to do that part. That's what I'm still trying to figure out because it's like, it's one thing knowing the people, right? Yeah. Knowing people helps, but even today's day and age, they're hungry for something new anyway. Yeah. And so you don't have to know somebody, you just got to be good. Also true. And also like the social media thing like plays a part in it because it's like in social because they check out how many followers this guy got. How many followers? Yeah. That's how that came, so I don't know where I read it, but I don't know if it was Cillian Murphy or some big Hollywood actor basically came out and was like, the fact that they're casting all these shows based on, Instagram followers and TikTok followers
it is that is what's killing a lot of Hollywood.
Yeah.
And and I get that marketability matters, but that only gets you that one piece of content, and then it's over.
Sure.
It's if now had that Haktua girl been really talented, like she'd be one of the biggest stars in the world right now. But she had one thing. They put her in that box, and then they said, "Here, keep doing that thing, and hopefully it works." It doesn't anymore.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I'm like a little like afraid of like becoming is, and it's no like disrespect to any, like if you get work, you get work. So it's just like, get your paper.
No, of course.
I think just for me and how my mind works, I would hate to do a project for like 10 years and I'm like, okay, I'm good. And then you just stop seeing
Same
me.
box.
And then I come back like, oh, we're going to do a reboot. And I'm just like, yeah, but like, why though?
Didn't they make a show about that? The Joey from Friends.
Well, yeah,
is it called Reboot maybe, or it's called
I know
Episodes
what
or
you're
something?
I don't know exactly what, but I know the name.
But I think they did something like that where it was
Yeah, it's a lot of it though. Like because
the show Hacks is a little bit like that.
Yeah,
that's a great example of like an older sort of comedian trying to reinvent themselves.
Yeah,
and that can be really hard when you've been successful for so long.
Yeah,
but then also those paychecks come in, and that's the thing. And I get what you're saying, but I think, because now if you've mastered sort of social media and understand understand the writing, the cameras, the audio, and you're doing it yourself, I think there's a way for you to be able to sort of have that. And then you can go off like you've created Dei Moreno. You have that. It's almost like when Donald Glover decided. I think, okay, so when I found out that he was Childish Gambino, I was like, what? I had no idea, right? I didn't know he was this. He was so great in Community, and I thought that's who he was. And then I come to find out this guy is way beyond that. Sure. He's a brilliant mind. Sure. He's like a Kanye, but like not insane. Sure. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate both those artists for what they are. I don't care about their personal lives. I mean, I do, but I'll leave that for another time. But sure. I think that now, because you've done it on your own and you're doing it on your own, eventually if you do get something and you have this thing, and now you've got, like you said, for 10 years you do this, you still have Dei Moreno. You still have that where you can go off and do your own thing and have I think that's where maybe you can differentiate yourself. Sure. And I feel like that's kind of what Donald did a little bit, but now apparently, and I don't want to get on that, but like, is it true that he's no longer Childish Gambino? He doesn't want to be known? Like, is that a thing too? Like, you get sucked into a bot and then people just like, nah.
Well, I will say that I think that with every artist, like everyone has like a moment where they may or may not want to do it. It just depends on like where they're at mentally. Sure. Because like a great example, like Andre 3000 feels like I have nothing left to say, or no one wants to hear from me. That's not true. I would love to hear a new Outkast album. You know what I'm saying? But that's how he's feeling. But then on the flip side, you have Clips. You know what I'm saying? They're in their 50s and they put out one of the best albums this year, in my opinion. So for me, it's just like where I'm at is like, okay, so I don't know how I will feel about this 10 years later or 20 years later. All I just know is that I don't want to have let me go back to this because nothing's happening. Like, that's just me. Gotcha. So it's just like, if I feel that makes sense. Yeah, so it's like Everybody Loves Those Boys, for example. So let's say, we do 6 seasons of Everybody Loves Those Boys, right? And so then I'm like, okay, I feel like I've said everything that I need to say, or I've done everything I wanted to do creatively with that. But then I'm not getting work. So then I will then go to do a podcast that talks about Everybody Loves Those Boys, and then eventually try to do reboot, and keep trying to lobby for a reboot. And so for me, it's just like, I don't want that. So that's just me. So it's just like,
it can be really hard though, because you have something that you love, you believe in, that maybe the masses haven't seen or had an opportunity to absorb. Sure. And it can be hard because, you've invested all this time, effort, money where you had it. And I feel like from where you are, if somebody came and they wanted to buy that, of course you'd do it.
I can only speak so much because, like, it's easy to say that I wouldn't do it because, like, I'm not in that position.
Right, you're not in that position.
I just know based on how I feel about certain things, it's like, okay, I gotta know that, like, I just gotta know. It's just like a feeling because, like, a lot of times when you try to, like, there's a lot of I don't like it when shows come back and then they try to, like, ride the wave of, like, what they think is funny now.
Yeah, sure.
Like,
I see where you're coming from.
Yeah, so it's like
a little tone deaf, and
I don't even think it's like a tone deaf thing. It's like, so for example, it's like if you have like a show that was in the 90s, popular in the 90s, come back, and then you'll have like the characters then like try to crack jokes about, what are those? And TikTok, and this is Fleek and all this other stuff. And look at how I'm trying to be hip, but I'm outdated. Ha, ha, ha.
Yeah.
Like, to me,
they're playing a caricature.
They're playing, yeah. So for me, I'm like, man, like, I get that, like, these characters are older, but there are like more graceful ways to have them adapt with the time. That's why I think
it's kind of late. That's lazy comedy.
Exactly. So like, you look at a show like
being too obvious.
You look at a show like Curb Your Enthusiasm. It's like they've been able to write with the times
100%,
like swimmingly. So it's just like it's never one of those things.
I could see you on that show too. I'm not gonna lie to you, man.
I would love to do
I could see you improvising. Like that would be you, because they don't really like scripts per se.
Yeah.
They write scenarios.
Yeah.
Like I could see you killing on that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I would love, and honestly, JB Smooth, Larry David, and that's honestly like when I really started like trying to really put together an idea of what I wanted Everybody Loves Those Boys to be.
Right.
That was one of the blueprints. So it's
and that's true when you say that. Now that you say Curb, I'm like, that kind of reminds me of your stuff.
Yeah.
I like that. So, okay, bringing it back to like where we are now.
Yeah.
Being in Omaha. Okay, so what does it look like for you? How close are you to being like, fuck it, I'm moving to Georgia. Fuck it, I'm going to a bigger market, at least like a mid-major or a metropolitan area, and I'm gonna, do you have an agent?
I do not have an agent. And if there are any agents out there, I would love to work with you guys. Honestly, yeah.
Right. So that's the other thing that I've noticed about the business too, is like sometimes this is what I've noticed, and maybe I'm wrong, but sometimes agents don't want you working on your own like web series. They don't want you working on, because now this is my perception.
Sure.
Because of the perspective I used to have, and because I'm not in it anymore, I could be wrong. But in the past, agents wanted your resume. It wasn't Instagram followers. They wanted your resume, your headshot, and then you do a read for them or something. Or if you had been in something that they could watch, that's kind of how they'd be like, okay, I can get you, right? Like, boom. So now, you've got your music, you've got your Everybody Loves the Boys, you've got your Instagram, all that stuff. In the past, if I was doing that on my own, doing my own stuff, an agent would look at me and be like, well, like, that's not like, we don't want that, because we want you to be doing this for a major studio. We want you to be doing this. The work you're doing, like on your cell phone or whatever, that's not what we're looking for. But now self-tape is everything. I mean, people are sending in self-tapes. It's like crazy. Do you find that because of the technology, because of social media, that like, that's what agents are looking for? They want, show me if show me, can you be a leading man in your own show?
Sure.
Like, do you think that's helping? Do you think it's hurt? Like, is it getting you kind of is it putting the right eyeballs on you?
Doing all like the self stuff?
All this, because you're self-producing everything.
I don't know. I know that at the end of the day, I know what I like. And I think that more than anything, I do it for me first.
Sure.
Because I just have to do it.
Yeah.
It's like, fish in water.
Right.
Like I have to swim.
Yeah.
I think that I can't speak on behalf of what a studio wants, because like a lot of times like a studio,
They don't even know.
Sometimes
They don't know.
They don't know.
They don't know.
Maybe in this moment this is what they want, and then in the next moment they're like, nah, well, we're looking for
They
this.
don't know what they want.
It's just like, and there's a billion studios out there, so like what I may not want with this, what they want, they may want something else here. Okay, fine. Well, then over there they actually want something that I do. So for me, my main focus more than anything is just to make art at the highest level. And then the rest of it, I mean, like, yeah, I have like plans of stuff I want to do. Like, I don't want to be like in 2050 or whatever. I'm like, oh, okay, I think, well, you know, you guys want to do another episode for Everybody Loves Those Ones?
Yeah,
like,
hopefully they.
So
hopefully at that point you've got.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I could tell you this right now. Like, I'm a lot closer than what most people think. I
believe it.
I stay very quiet on certain things because it's like, I don't want to be like, yeah, guys, I'm here, this, that, and the third, because when it's time to announce it, then it's time to announce it. Exactly.
Yep. Because there are people that are talking about the work, but the people that aren't talking about it are actually doing the work.
I feel like that's one of the more frustrating things, because I've noticed that a lot of times, because I've been doing this for quite some time, and there are people who will give an opinion or a critique on what it is I'm not doing right based off of something that I was doing years and years ago. So they'll be like, well, what you need to do, David, is you need to do this, and this, you know what your problem is at this. And they'll never like actually take time to look at like the growth that's happening over here.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Even though it's literally like happening in real time.
There's not enough curiosity anymore. Like, people aren't curious. They're just judgmental. They go straight to, you know, what they think they know and what they perceive.
Yeah.
But get closer to something and you'll see a different perspective.
At the same time, though, a lot of people don't want to. A lot of times people, like, they just want to tell other people what to do, or they don't want to listen. They listen to respond.
Sure.
And so it's just like, if you like, I've had people that have called my phone for a whole 3 hours and have told me, like, you know, this is why I'm not gonna, you know, is like, oh, well, you know, and I think I can speak for a lot of creatives. We've heard the whole narrative of, if you're here in Omaha, you'll never be successful. I've heard that this place is cursed. I've heard that this place is this and that. Oh, it's nothing but filled with a bunch of toxic people and lazy people. But I used to live in New York, and folks was partying every single day. Folks weren't focused on nothing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I used, like, I can't tell you, like, you can find toxic people anywhere. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, it's not just Omaha. You can find them in Florida. I know one who lives there. You can find them in New York.
Yep.
You can find them in Timbuktu. It doesn't matter where you go.
Yeah.
You know
toxicity is going to be.
Yeah.
So it's up to you.
If you're toxic, it's going to follow you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
If you're toxic, but if you're not, and you know what to look for, and you know how to repel it, then you can find the good ones too.
Yeah.
We know I mean, that's the hardest part.
Yeah,
that is the hardest part, is finding your tribe, man, and getting the people that can, you know, bring you up too.
I don't, and here I just gotta say, I don't think that, like, Omaha obviously is not like the end all be all for me, right? But I know that what I want to build, it starts here. This is my home. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that, like, oh, I'm never going to leave. Like, obviously I know that I'm going to have to continue to develop more and more. But, like, the beautiful part about where we're at right now, outside of the fact that the internet is a thing, is that, like, there's a lot more creative people here. There's a lot of people who are leaving LA. They're like, dude, screw this place. Yeah, it's expensive. You know what I'm saying? It's expensive. There's a lot going on. Like, dude, and so a lot of stuff is like, okay, so all I have to do right now is just continue to stick to what it is I know how to do, build it up from there. Because, like, think of it like this. Because a lot of people like to question a person's mentality based on whether or not they move to LA or New York. You don't think that a person who has 3 kids can just leave? You think they can just leave? They can't.
It's not like that.
It's not as easy as
even
it
with
sounds.
One kid. I got 1 kid. That's tough.
Yeah, even with one. Yeah, it's just like some people, like,
it does. Yeah,
it's a lot easier said than done. Some of them maybe that they're just comfortable.
Even with no kids, it's tough.
Even with no kids,
like it's just. It is, you gotta, you know, I think before you move, you have to probably have a prospect of something that's going to work out for you. I mean, unless you're, 17, 18, 19 years old, then maybe you just take like I did, you go to New York. I didn't know what I was doing. I was going to go do the damn thing. That's different. But when you're grown, you gotta have at least somebody who knows that can put you in a room that's going to give you an opportunity to try something. And if you fail, then you come back. And if you don't, you figure it out.
Yeah.
And those are hard to get. And that's why I'm like, I know you have a passion for it. You got a propensity for it. You have, you have for sure the will, the drive, and you're actually doing it. So I've got a lot of fear, and I want to do more of the stuff that you're doing on a different side. Like I want to help people produce their content. And I want to help them, develop that. I want to help them write it, get it to a place. I'll be on screen every once in a while, but for the most part, I want to be on the other side, helping them, come up. And, I see that you have the work ethic to do it, and you're doing it, and it's like impressive. And I'm kind of like, man, how's he making this work, especially here, and still making it worthwhile? Cause he must obviously love it.
Yeah.
Now the question is, all this work you've done, all this stuff, do you see an ROI? And I'm not just saying an ROI necessarily financially, but like, are you seeing it? Are you seeing growth through your work, your art, and then the value that you're able to put all this out? Like, what's the value proposition?
So ROI, what is
return on investment?
Okay, return on investment. Gotcha.
Like how can you not only make money, but also have the value proposition to put this out into the world so that other people can see the value in it? Like, I know it's getting views, and I know people are liking it and loving it and things like that. But how do we get more eyeballs? How do we get more butts in seats? How can you take your show? And I know you said you're going to pitch it, like, to who? Like, is that something we can talk about? Like, are you actively like searching out some either agents or studios that are interested?
Yeah.
Can you talk about it, or is that something you want to kind of keep?
So I think that like. It's
you don't have to name names, but like, what's the next step with this show, or maybe developing into something else?
It's just a step at a time.
Okay.
Honestly, because I mean, I've had conversations with people about like on a bigger scale.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? But, some of those, they don't necessarily lead anywhere. Sometimes you have people that will kind of just say that because you're like sitting right in front of them.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? So right now it's kind of navigating through the business.
Sure.
So it's like, there are people that I've, reached out to that I've, kind of like, hey, this is what I got going. This is what I'm about, to no reply. That doesn't mean that it's not good. I think that right now it's just a matter of, okay, well, how else can I present this to the masses? Maybe it's a matter of submitting it to a festival, a film festival.
Yeah. I was going to say, I think you'd do great.
Man, for the longest, I have been wanting to be a part of a film festival. And,
it's scary though, isn't it?
I mean, that's the thing. I've missed the deadline.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, when you miss the deadline, you're just like, okay, so like, I can't, like, that's my thing, is just like, not that I'm saying the moment that I walk out, you know what I'm saying? Like, all right, I'll tell a story. Okay. So when I was 18 years old and I was in New York Film Academy, I was really heavy in the stand-up comedy scene. And the reason why I was, outside of the fact that I only wanted to do stand-up, all of the filmmakers that were in the New York Film Academy, they didn't want to put me in their stuff. Nobody was asking me to be in their stuff. I went for acting. So for me, I was just like, okay, I'm going to, hit the comedy circuit. And I'm just going to, just work it from there. So I had a showcase, and there were people that were like studio execs. There was one particular dude. He was with Universal Studios, right? And I remember like he called me while I was in the middle of class, and he was just like, David, can you get down here in 20 minutes? You know what I'm saying? Like, we have some people that want to meet you. I didn't end up going. I don't know why, but I didn't end up going. I'm not going to kick myself over that, but I auditioned for a pilot on ABC. You know what I'm saying? Like, based off of just meeting someone at a mixer party. So I have been able, I know that I have proved myself able and have the ability to do it. So like the doubt of being able to do it is not there. I just think that right now, because there's everything going like at the same time, it's like, okay, I'm going to continue to pitch this, but like what I can't stop doing is like just focus on purely a pitch, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's just like,
100%,
yeah, and I like, and even if so, like for me, it's like, okay, if that means that I have to like, double down more on like, the online creating things, then like, fine, so be it. I don't think that I have to keep going until I get 1 million subscribers to get noticed. I think that all it takes is like, one good person. I also believe that it's just like, I have to do both. So it's a matter of pitching it. You know what I'm saying? Because I also like, you also want to make sure that you have a professional way of pitch. You just don't want to like be the dude that runs up on someone. It's like, hey man, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So there's
it's like selling CDs outside of a
exactly. But it's like, dude, I have a phone now. We have YouTube. We're streaming. So like, for me, I have to find it, and I think that's one of the reasons why I've been so adamant on creating my own content is because I realize I'm like, okay, I've done a lot of these auditions for pilots. Like literally, like I did one for ABC. I was supposed to be a recurring role. I didn't get it, but the pilot didn't get picked up. So for me, I was just like, okay, I'm keep doing these auditions. Mm-hmm. I'm not getting these roles. I have to find a way that I can at least be able to make myself presented and known. And to also be fair, at the time, my material wasn't really that good. My music wasn't good. My films weren't good. I can say right now at this age that like it's time. Everything that I've had to prepare, and I think a lot of that, a lot of times when people like talk about blessings, a lot of times when people talk about favor, they only focus on one thing. They focus on money, right? They focus on, that's the main thing. That's the main thing. It's just like, so if you tell someone, oh, I'm blessed, like my grandmother, rest in peace, she always said, I'm blessed and highly favored. So you got people be like, oh, well, if you were so blessed, then why can't you pay your bill? How come you can't pay your car note? How come you can't do this? Right. And it's just like, but what I've been able to acquire through all of these years, right? Because like the stuff that I have brewing behind the scenes that I can't necessarily talk about right now is like, these are people that I've met on the way in the process of developing
100%.
That have worked on big sets, that have passed my name around.
There are people there are people that have money, but don't have any riches. And what I mean by that is you have a wealth of, connections and friends and family and people that want to work with you and be around and show up for you and things like that. Yeah. I'm sure there's haters out there too, whatever. Yeah. But like just making it about money because that can go away. Yeah, you might make enough to where you don't have to maybe work again, but there comes a time when you sort of start itching a little bit.
Yeah. And also to give a little bit of extra grace, a lot of independent filmmakers don't got bread like that to begin with. No. That's why they're independent. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, and like a lot of these guys, like Christopher Nolan and them, they were in the same position at a certain point. Yeah. Ryan Coogler,
his brother,
same position. Yeah. A lot of these folks
love Ryan too, but oh my
it's just
God.
Like a lot of their upbringing is just like they had. When they were doing their independent stuff and writing their scripts, they didn't have like little to nothing. So when they were making that stuff, they shot it in very tight budgets. Yeah. And I think a lot of times people pay attention too much to the surface.
100%.
And then they'll look at you and be like, oh, well, what's your deal? What's your problem? You know what I'm saying? Like, why don't you have this? And then once again, kind of going back to what I was saying earlier, where people will tell you, oh, well, this is what you need to do, or this is what your problem is. But then they'll never they'll never ask, like, well, hey, what are you doing to improve? Because it's like how I wouldn't be able to handle what it is that I have now back then. And that's the thing that a lot of times we always want to like,
It's a good point.
Yeah, it's like, okay, you don't put the expectation of a 17-year-old on a 3-year-old.
No. Oh, yeah. Don't know. 100%.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like,
100%.
And you don't put the expectation of a 30-year-old on a 17-year-old. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So like you have to learn how to grow with grace.
100%.
And a lot of times people, they get too big on like, the performative nature. So it's like, oh, well, this didn't happen because you did this. And that didn't happen because you're not doing this. And now you create anxiety for yourself in your mind. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, God is not a God of anxiety. God's not a God of fear. Perfect love casts out fear. God has not given me a spirit of fear. So if that's the case, then we need to erase this idea that something isn't happening because you did this.
Sure.
Because now what happens is you keep yourself still and you'll never move for the rest of your life. So now you're going to be afraid to even try anything.
Yep. That's a good point.
So for me right now, as far as the production, the pitching and everything, I'm at a point, it's ready. The product is here. We're talking to people, but it's just one of those things. Like we got to keep, we got to keep
going.
Aiming.
Yep. 100%.
We got to keep aiming.
I love that. Yeah. That's good. I mean, because like you said, I mean, you can make the argument for, I can, sit still, wait for them to come to me, or I can just keep doing what I'm doing and honing my skills and getting there. And then when the time is ready, I'm ready and all those things. And I appreciate that because, for the longest time, I was like, I wanted to do a podcast. I wanted to talk to people, and I just kept putting it on. And finally I was like, you know what? No, I'm making 2025 my year. I'm going to do this thing. It's hard because I want it to look good, sound good, I want to have all these cool guests. I want to have all these people from the Midwest that I think are great. And that's why you're on. But then I was like, you know what? Let me just get this out. Like, I got this basement room. Let me just put this thing together. I want to start because this is now going to afford me the ability to literally, I can finish this today, cut it, and it's ready to go tomorrow.
Yeah.
But if let's say I was doing this on another location, I have to take all my gear, set it all up in a new place, and it looks great. And it's out, I get to show off somebody else's space and we can have that sort of like, small business entrepreneurial talk and stuff like that. But what ended up happening, one of the guys that is on my crew, Matt, he's like, just start doing one-on-ones.
Yeah.
Because you're going to find out, like, you're going to be able to have better conversations. When I had four or five people, love them to death. And I love that concept, but just didn't have the crew or the budget for it and the size for it. I like a big, diverse group of different conversations because people start bouncing off each other and stuff like that. But I did find that it was just getting too cumbersome. So I wanted to,
cumbersome like how?
Well, I'd have to bring all my equipment to the place, and then I have to tear down, and then I'd have to have, 5 different microphones, and I have to match them in post.
Sure.
The camera, and that's fine. And I like doing that, and I can do it. And that's the type of work that I want, but it takes so much longer for me to put out episodes. Yeah. And so for me, I want to start doing it and stop worrying about so much, the production value. Cause I still think I'm going to have some good production value, but to your point, I can't worry about all the things that are kind of out of my control.
Yeah.
Let me just, I've got the scripts. I've written this thing. I've got the ideation. I've got the cast and all the people that want to be involved in this thing. I can produce it myself. I can put this out in the world and let me go do it. And it's good. And I like it. And I'm growing. So I appreciate that about you, that you're doing that because, there's probably a lot of people in the Midwest that are just like, man, I got to go to LA to do it. I got to go to New York to do it. I got to be in Chicago or Atlanta. You could, with the technology that there is today, you can just do it on your phone and you can make it good.
Sure.
If you've got a good story and you feel hot about it and you feel good about it and you love it and you got a good crew of people around you.
Yeah. It also depends on like what it is that you're trying to do.
Yeah. Of course. There's certain things like if you're going to be a ballet dancer, you got to go, I get that. I get that. Like you got to be amongst.
I think for myself, and that's the one thing about, this place here, this beautiful, city, is that I've been able to get into locations and they have charged me little to nothing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. A lot of times, when you just have a conversation.
I was going to ask you too, because in some of your episodes, you're different. But you shoot all over the city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot, and I got to tell you, like,
and you just tell them what you're doing. You kind of show them you kind of tell, you know what I mean? Cause like some places probably want to know, like, well, what is this?
Yeah.
Like they might not know. It's like, what if it's something bad? What if it's some like,
well, I think a lot of it is just like, and that's when you develop, like, like said team, like my guy, Todd Graves, man, is just like, I know without him, a lot of stuff wouldn't be able to.
Does he help you location scout and stuff?
He does. He's been very instrumental. It's just like, so I can't take the credit just for me.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, like my guy Todd has been so helpful. And so
100%.
I think that this goes into, growing and developing. You realize it's just like, okay, yeah, there's still some stuff that I have to do as far as heavy lifting, but like we've been able to get into environments and record and we haven't had to get charged like anything.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is just like outside of the fact that, we communicate with that, man. It's just like, people in the Midwest, they're not gonna, like, some may not understand it. Right. And you're always going to get some folks that don't understand it. But that just comes with the territory. Yeah. Like, you can be in New York and people be like, oh my God, the theater kids are singing again. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like,
of course.
So it's like, so for me, it's just like, I mean,
who gets it, and who does,
who gets it, who doesn't.
Who doesn't, it is what it is. I mean, they're not going to get it anyway. So it's not for everybody, and that's okay. But who does all your product? Like who's your who's your director? Who's your editor and sound design? Like who does all of like the graphics and stuff for the show and stuff like that?
So I handle a lot of the editing.
Sure. You on Premiere or are you on
DaVinci Resolve?
Okay.
So right. DaVinci Resolve, as far as like the people that have, like, we're filming a movie right now. And a lot of my frequent collaborators, would be, Todd Graves, my guy, Josue Garcia, my guy, Cadet Fowler, a small but mighty group, my guy, Young God, once again, shout out to him. Like, so, there are a lot of beautiful people that, are very skilled and they know what they're doing. Sure. So it's just like, we can, and it's just kind of development, spam grump, branching out from there. Yeah. And, you always, and I will say that, leading certain projects or, just trying to learn how to be a better leader or a better person, I haven't always got it right.
You got to learn that too. It takes time. The more you start to collaborate, the more you start to kind of learn your leader voice, if you will.
Yeah, and
because at first you think you kind of got a good idea of how you want to do it, and then you get into a situation that might be challenging. Yeah, and you find out that your communication skills change because, the voice gets higher.
Yeah, and you have to learn. You have to learn it on the fly, and plus, it's
I've been there.
Yeah, it's
Nate,
like
I love you, Nate.
Yeah, and I mean,
Nate knows what I'm talking about.
And from the leadership perspective to the personal perspective is just like and I can humbly say, not even humbly say, because that sounds like douchey, but
no, I know what you're going for.
I can honestly say, to individuals, like Hunter James, I really am apologetic. That's my guy, man. And it's just like, and I can say I dropped the ball. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't, from the personal side of things, I didn't handle that relationship properly. Yeah. And it's just like, and so I have to, so even if there is no reconciliation, I have to learn from my mistakes so that that doesn't happen again.
And you feel like your work can almost benefit from that as well.
Sure.
Personally, because we're still people at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And make sure this isn't an important message. Nope. At the end of the day, you're people. You walk away from your work and your boys or your girls or whoever, and you're going to have beers or whatever it is. You're still just people trying to figure it out, do the thing. I feel like those moments that you're not your best, your work can benefit from that. If you're willing to give yourself grace, but then also you got to give grace for sure. Like everybody, we got to give grace, but you got to give yourself grace. Yeah. It's hard though sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm hard on myself. I set a high bar. Mm-hmm. I know you do.
Yeah.
Because we think of ourselves as, we're legends in our own mind, sort of. And it's one of those things where it's like, we know we're wrong and we're fallible, but when you're working on your work and stuff, you're like, nope, this is what it is. Yeah. This is what it's going to be. Yeah. And I know I've mastered, like I'm up here, you're kind of the master of your own, thoughts and stuff. But then you start collaborating, you put it on paper and you start to go, oh man, my shit does stink.
Yeah. and a lot
you
of
start
times,
to realize that.
Yeah. And a lot of times it's like, you'll almost like bypass how other people feel because you're trying to get a product done.
Yes, so because like, in your mind the whole time you thought, no, this is how it has to be. This is how it has to be. I've lost sleep thinking about this.
Or like, oh, I got this, that, and the third going on. I don't got time to be running in behind this. And like, I'm trying to focus on this art. I'm trying to focus on this. And it's just like, yeah, but at the same time, it's just like, it also comes down to like, okay, but at like what cost? Because what I don't want to become is a person that is like, yes, like he has this and he's dope. He's also an asshole and I don't want to be around him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to be that. And the thing is that I still live in this universe in my mind that I can get what it is that I want as a creative and still maintain morality.
There are mediocre artists out there in all levels. Okay, I don't want to say mediocre. I want to say above average. That people will consistently want to work with those people because they're likable. They good people. They're good humans. And then there are exceptional artists that no one can stand. Yeah. Because they smell their own shit. And they I would rather be part of the above average, right? Not mediocre. Mediocre because if you're not there, you're not there. But I would rather be somebody who's liked and still get the job done and still, get the work, because you can grow from that. Those are people that you can coach. Those are people, not coach, that's the wrong word, but those are the people you can work with to grow, because they can get to exceptional. Yep. But the people that are exceptional that aren't willing to be coached or willing to grow, if you will, that's harder to work with, because then they are constantly micromanaging different things. And then they don't allow other people, right, to give to, because when I worked as an actor, the one thing that I was always reminding myself, or that that I had learned from other people, was the more you give, the better you are. You give, and that can be a lesson for life. Yep. Whenever I bring Denzel up a lot because I think he's a wonderful, giving, great actor. People always want to work with him and stuff like that. But the thing about him is he's always talking about his other actors as they are generous. Yep. And when you're generous, that allows, as an actor, for you to give back to them. And that's what it is. It is a give and take situation. And that is a lesson for life, period.
Well, and people won't care about what you know until you show that you care.
Right. 100%.
And that is just like something, just as a leader, as a human being, as an artist, as a director, as an everything, that, I want to be the best. And I believe that, I am the best, but I don't want to claim that at the expense of cutting down other people.
100%. And also that claim doesn't necessarily mean that you are, better than, over than, you're overlord, you're the overseer of all things, the show or whatever project you're working on. Being the best and knowing you're the best it's a mentality that you are trying to share. Yeah. And that, I think, is
because I think everyone deserves to live in that space. Like, I don't want people
living in the space of the great. Yeah.
100%. I don't want it to be one of those things where it's like, oh well, no, you can't be the best. So I, like, for example, like I'm gonna take the best melodies, or I'm going to take the best lines and save them for myself. Right. It's like, no, like a perfect example, this film that we're doing right now, this is the first time.
Can you talk specifically about it? Like title, where's it going to be shot?
We're in the middle of shooting it right now. So it's going to be shot here. Okay. As far as the title, I don't necessarily like have like a working title, but
can you give me an idea of what it's about at least?
Well, it's called it's called the Judas Contract. So
Okay.
nah, that's the
Comedy.
oh no, it's straight drama,
Oh, okay. Okay.
straight
Okay. Okay.
drama,
Okay.
straight
Okay.
intense. I think with this particular project, it's like I've this is like a lot of stuff I've always been the star in, and this is the very first time that I'm not even in it.
Okay. Okay.
And I had to learn how to give someone else the keys
Sure.
to go and do their thing, and I have to trust them enough to make those decisions.
It's going to make you a better actor. It's going to make you a better leader. It's going to make you a better. This is going to be a good exercise.
Yeah.
For your mind to breathe and to give grace and also communicate through the times when you're not maybe happy with a performance. It's not that you're not happy. It's just, let's try. So, and patience, dude, I've been, on, cause I go more behind the scenes now. And so directing is, that's why there's only a few really amazing ones, in the history of the filmmaking business. I mean, there's really only a few amazing ones, and the ones that are constantly working are the ones that I think have figured out how to, give that grace and let that power of the interpretation of the words and the interpretation of the lighting and the camera placement, things like that, live through, when you're working, I bet, on this project, right? You've got a cinematographer, you got a first AC, you've got a, you're directing then?
Yes.
Okay. Directing, producing, you're also the writer.
Yes.
When you wear those hats, you feel like, okay, this is my baby, but now it's time for, somebody else to hold this. Now I'm going to go give you this thing.
Yep.
And I'm going to trust you with this. And we're going to find out, we're going to do this together. Let's go. That can be really hard.
It can.
And as a girl dad, as a dad of a bit, it's hard for me to hand her off to daycare or hand her off to somebody. It's tough, but I see her grow.
Yeah.
She comes back from daycare and she's super happy to see me. Number one. Number two, she's like, oh, let me tell you about my friends. And let me tell, I'm like, okay, that is the power of that. And so I think it might be a bad analogy, but you understand where I'm going. It's
absolutely.
You see the growth of like these actors, and then they show you something that, oh man, you know what? I didn't think of it that way. That's pretty awesome.
Absolutely.
That can be a great awakening and be like, okay, that's what this is. That's what this is. And it's not going to happen every day. You're going to have your bad days, believe. I've been there. But I think the fact that like you're shooting this thing, you're doing it, you have it. Where do you think your the ambitious nature? I mean, there's got to be some fear of like, man, I'm putting all this time and energy and money and effort into this thing. There has to be a thing where it's like, fuck it, why am I wasting my time with this thing? Like, you have to believe in it in order for you to like wake up and do this thing, because it's if you were getting paid. Making lots of money, that makes the value proposition easier to show up for.
Sure.
But since you're not, and it's not, you're doing it yourself and you're putting all this into it, and there is no promise of you being able to pay your bills through this thing, you still got to work your other job or whatever it is. What keeps you going? Is it just the work, the love for it? It's that much? Or do you see that, yes, eventually this is going to pay off and I am going to get where I got to go? Because for me, it's tough to justify, sometimes always just showing up like this show.
Yeah.
Like doing this, showing up. I got no sponsors.
Yeah.
I'm doing this, and this is all my equipment. This is all my stuff. And yeah, I've got some clients out there doing stuff, and I do want to have a more forward facing profile out in the world. And I want people to understand where I'm coming from so that they feel comfortable with me. So I feel there's a value proposition, but me having a conversation with you, that to me is the value proposition, because I want to learn how people show up.
Yep.
And I guess that's my long-winded question of like, why do you keep showing up? I mean, I know we touched on it, but like, you're doing a lot of work, man. And I think it's good quality work, but I'm like, when can we get you paid, man? Like, when can we get you in front of, the screen?
I think that, well, to answer the first question of what is the what that keeps me
What's
going.
your why? Yeah.
Two things, man. you know, I love to do it.
Yeah.
You know, more than anything, if money was the only reason on why I would be doing something, I would have stopped a long time ago.
Sure, sure.
I I just love to do it. It's just a part of me.
Yeah.
Like there's no like it's just a part of me. I enjoy it, and I know that I have had a passion for it. All I just want is to keep that passion when things like come together,
Sure.
because I like it's both. I know that it's going to come together, but at the same time, um I do not want um to be like, oh well, I don't want to be like that like 70-year-old dude that like is seeing all the art stuff now and is just like, that was stupid. Yeah, I'll show you something. So back in the day, look at this. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, yeah, I don't want to be that guy. You know what I'm saying?
Everybody knows that guy.
Yeah,
Everybody
it's
knows
just
that
like,
guy. Yep.
it's Uncle Rico. You know what I'm saying?
Yep,
Like,
yep. These
yeah,
fucking kids, man, they
it's
don't
just like,
know.
Coach wouldn't put me in. Like, no, Uncle Rico, you suck. That is why Coach didn't put you in.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So like,
Everybody knows that guy.
yeah. So
Yep.
I don't want to become that guy. And so I think that that's more than anything is the driving force. Is just like, it's not about fame. It's not about money. It's just about like, man, like that's me right there. That's where the passion comes
awesome.
from, the raw emotion of it. Because like, I know it's going to work out, because the thing is, it's just like, you know, for what it is worth, like I said earlier, a lot of the stuff that like, okay, you think about it like this. Let's say if I went to meet with Universal when I was 18, who's to say that like things would have been different or better? What
That's
if
a good point.
what it like, and like, there's a huge what if, because
Right.
you'll hear all these stories about Diddy and Weinstein. Who's to say that
Who's
that
to say
wouldn't
that
have
wouldn't have
happened?
happened? Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so for me, just because, and this is just for anybody out
That's
there.
true.
Outside of the artistry, this is just life. Just because things could have been different doesn't mean they would have been better.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? And so for me, yes, there's a lot of things that like, oh, well, maybe if I did this, this would be happen. Well, yeah, well, maybe if I don't know, like maybe if I didn't wear this shirt today, then I don't know. Like you can't like just
Yeah,
the
no,
whole-
100% understand. It's like a sliding door situation where it's like, is that old movie, Gwyneth Paltrow, whatever, is like if she did get on that train, if she didn't. The funny thing about that, really in the end, she ended up in the same place.
Yeah.
But how she got there, some of it, you know, on one side was way more dramatic and heartbreaking, and the other one, not taking the train, ended up putting her exactly where she needed to be. So it is don't, I think what you're trying to say is basically like just because my path hasn't necessarily led me to where my final destination is, I'm on the path.
Yes. And one thing is that I can see the growth. So it's not like, you know, I started really taking this seriously around like 14. So it's not like I am still putting out the same stuff when I was 14 or writing the same way that I was like 14.
Oh, no,
So
growth.
it's just like, so with that is growth. So like, so with the small but mighty production crew that I have right now, like that is a level of growth. And I know that me at 18, 19 couldn't handle something like that. So it's just like, so the fact that I'm able to do it right now shows that I'm heading in the right direction. So a lot of like, you know, a lot of times when people want to be focused on, okay, well, you said that you're getting better. Well, where's the money at? I'm just like, yeah, but what about this here?
Right.
What about like
Yep.
the small production company that I have? What about the people, the collaborators that I have right now?
Right.
Like it's not, yes, like getting paid and making a name for you and all this other stuff. Yes, like that is an end goal.
Sure.
But
I've
you
built it's great because you could wake up tomorrow, write a script for the next couple of weeks, and already be in production because you have a team of people that you can call right away. You've got
absolutely.
actors, you've got filmmakers, you've got people that can get behind it and make that script come alive because you've built that network of people that are ready to rock and roll.
Yeah.
Me, if I did that, I would have to then go and get those people to go and do that. Or I would have to pitch it to a studio and they'd have to buy it from me and then they'd turn it into whatever they want. You know that you can write something and immediately get what you want to get accomplished with it. Sure. You can put it from pen to paper to the camera to social media or wherever you're going to put that. Yep. And then you've got that art and it's done and it's out there. That's impressive. And that's what you've built. And I think like for being here in the Midwest, I know that there are obviously challenges with what you are doing, but because of technology, because that you've built this thing, you know that if you have something good, it can take hold. Chloe Feynman, I'll use her as an example. She's one of the cast members on SNL. She was discovered through her Instagram feed, playing different characters and different voices. We all know Justin Bieber, found on YouTube. There are countless people, Meghan Trainor and all these other people. Like
Issa Rae.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Issa Rae. Amazing, by the way. Yeah. Like huge inspiration of like, I love pretty much everything she's been in. And like, you know, you don't wake up like this. You know, it's like Beyonce says, I wake up like that. You don't wake up like that. You become, you grow into what you are, and then you build off of that. And sometimes it's a zigzag. It's very rarely a straight line.
Sure.
Like, and the people that have the straight line, you know, they're called Nepo babies. Yeah. No, but like very rarely do you have a straight line. I mean, most of us, you know, we've got to zigzag, we've got to dip and dive. Yep. And when we have the opportunity, I think when you, specifically you, when that opportunity and you get into that room, I know you're going to be ready, because I think people are going to see the value in the road that you took, and they're going to go, we can work with this guy because we like his work. You know, he's funny, or we love his voice, his music. We like his writing. All this stuff, let's develop this. And I think you will be ready. I mean, that's why I wanted to sit down and talk to you, because I feel like, I think you will be a star.
Thank you.
I really do.
I appreciate that.
Because just your mentality, but also like the talent is there, but I think it's mostly just the work ethic, because you want it. And I can't thank you enough for coming to sit down and have a conversation. And we're going to do it again, because there's so much more that I feel like we could talk about.
Absolutely.
And I do want to kind of jump more into, especially when these things happen that you're kind of alluding to that might be happening.
Yes, sir.
When they do, I'm going to definitely have you back, because I want to talk about those things. I'm really curious. When we get off camera, I might grill you, but yeah, no, I appreciate you coming on, man. Is there anything else? Like, where can we find you? Go into your camera. Tell us where we can find you, what you have coming out, dates, things like that.
Yes. So you guys can find me on was it like going to be like a link below? Or like
yeah.
Okay, so link below. So on TikTok, it's Call Me DTG, if I'm not mistaken. Call Me DTG on TikTok. The Notorious DTG, that is on Instagram. Same with the YouTube channel. I have a podcast, Good Kid, Bad Theories. So you guys can check that out as well. But Spirit World, that is my brand new album, and it's coming out November the 17th. Guys, please check it out. It's going to be on all streaming platforms, man. We worked super hard on this album. It is sonically amazing. Shout out to Young God, the executive producer. Bro, we in there, bro, one step at a time. So
that, I'm telling you right now, the music, I was blown away and I didn't want to ruin it, but I was like, this dude, that's his voice. I was watching all the different snippets that you put out, and I was like, check out this album. Like, if you get an opportunity, when it just Young God, Notorious DTG.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for checking us out.
Yes, sir.